have
Nice.
Vibe Coding, the inaugural Vibe Coding Fridays with Kevin and Marcus.
Heck
Hi,
yeah.
everybody.
What's up?
Hi, everybody. So we're getting this live stream pulled up, and
I'm gonna send
we'll
out the link right
see.
now too.
Yeah, we'll start sending out the links. Hi, everyone who is joining us on the Twitters and on the YouTubes. We're right now live streaming to Twitter and YouTube. Kevin and I, for those of you who don't know, we both work at Edge and Node, and we both work building the graph every day. And with the vibe coding world approaching, if not, we're already here, it feels like at times. It felt appropriate just to hang out on a Friday, vibe for a little bit, and just build in public and share what we're working on. So I like this. Kevin, how you doing today? Does this feel right to you? This vibe coding Friday vibe?
Heck yeah, I'm ready to go. This is like the first vibe coding session I've actually done. I mean, I've been doing it a lot at home, but this will be fun because we're gonna try to do some like ping pong action here, some tennis back and forth, and yeah, just teach some people like some tips and tricks too. So it should be fun.
Yeah, and it's been fun kind of figuring out how to communicate, how we want to communicate this. And in the end, it just became, let's just go ahead and do this, and we're going to figure this out. We're going to do it live. And from there, we're going to have a little building session. So Kevin was really nice, and he put together a Scaffold ETH repo. And yeah, let's go over that a little bit before we get going. And we
Yeah,
could also
well,
share this with the audience too, if y'all want to vibe code along with us. That's something we could do.
yeah. So I did create a repo, but I think what we'll do is we'll just try to go from scratch. We'll try to
Okay,
reproduce what I made, but then we'll also
sure.
like give the links out for people to see like what we built,
Ooh,
and so
okay.
but people can follow along. I think the goal, like my whole thought with this is like the vibe coding stuff is like fun and it's an interesting way to learn. It's like a new
Mm,
thing, and there's
sure.
just little tips and tricks to like start off that I didn't know for a while. So I think it'd be cool to teach those, and then just
Yeah.
have some fun doing something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, do you want me to start out? Maybe I could start talking about what we're gonna build and
Yeah, yeah, you're the Scaffold ETH. I said that the Scaffold ETH educator extraordinaire. So I'd say start with that, and then from there we'll be able to ping pong back and forth. And just for the audience paying attention, we're planning to do something we've never done before, but we're gonna try it live, where we are passing prompts and essentially playing tennis or ping pong, where Kevin will do a prompt and then I will do a prompt, and then Kevin will do a prompt and I'll do a prompt, and we just simply have a conversation as we're prompting back and forth. So I think that's an interesting way to have dialogue and strategize and run into bugs and fix them live. So that'll be
yeah.
fun.
And I also need to quit and reopen because I don't have sharing permissions for some reason on this browser. So I'll be right back.
Yeah, we're live. That is totally fine. No worries. No worries. For those of you watching, if you guys would like to chat with us, the probably the best place to do so, I'm going to look at my Twitter, and I know Twitter itself has a chat availability, but I think that's one thing that I would like to improve a little bit is to actually be able to chat with you guys, because I am seeing got some good viewers here. We got some viewers coming in. Hello, I'll drop in chat here. Hey,
I
chat.
also, I'm back. Sorry
We're
about that, guys.
back.
I also created a Telegram chat. I don't know if you have a way to chat with people on the live stream on X, then that should be good.
Yes, on X there is a live stream chat, and I'm actually right there. If you actually go to the live stream, I typed in "Hey chat, how's it going?" And so I'm curious if we're going to be able to get people to hop in there, or if it'd actually be better to have another window. Being able to communicate with everyone who's watching would be really nice. So,
Yeah, it's always a tough one when you're live streaming, trying to field like because we're also streaming to two places. So
yep,
let's do our best. Okay, let me start sharing my screen here, and we'll
sure,
get rocking. Okay,
go
cool.
for it.
So I did create like a Telegram chat, which could be an option if you guys wanted to basically come on here and chat with us. Like this is gonna be like just for like crypto vibes, basically. We're gonna be doing a couple sessions, probably like hopefully weekly with me and Marcus, and I'm also doing some stuff with Venture Miner Academy. And so this would just be a cool place to get people maybe together talking about vibe coding. So please join that. But yeah, so I think what I want to talk about first is like when you first start iterating on like an idea, you always want to have like kind of some kind of starting point, right? So earlier I came into Claude and I asked like, hey, like I want to build a DApp on Ethereum, right? And I want to use a starter kit that has everything I need to get going quickly. And I want to use Next.js. What do you recommend? And it recommended Scaffold ETH, which is great. So Scaffold ETH is just like this really cool starter kit. So I think we'll probably use that. I do want to talk a little bit about it. So anyone who doesn't know Scaffold ETH, you can go to scaffoldeth.io and you can get like all the information, how to install it. You also can have a link to the docs, which are really great. And you can also just reference the GitHub. So Scaffold ETH2 is like a GitHub project, but there's another way you can install it, which is using this create ETH package. So that's probably what we're going to use today. And that's available as well if you want to take a look at it. It's in the same Scaffold ETH GitHub, and you can come here and search for create ETH and kind of see how that works. Just go ahead and search for that. There's create ETH, and then there's these extensions system, which is really cool as well. You can spin it up with an extension. So yeah, check that out. And like I said, the docs are really good. They give you a lot of stuff, but there's some tips for like when we're using Cursor that I want to talk about. The first one is like, there's this llms-full.txt, which anyone who hasn't used Cursor, I would recommend highly setting it up. So you can download Cursor. It's free to start out. Let me close all this stuff out real quick. I don't know why there's all these windows open. It's free to start out. You can try it out. But what's cool about Cursor is it has this ability where you can go into settings and you can go to Cursor settings and you can go to features. And if you scroll all the way down, you can add like docs references for like different repositories. So if you are building on Scaffold ETH, you can put the Scaffold ETH in there. You can put Solidity, by example. If you're writing Solidity, you can reference the Solidity GitHub repo, like whatever it is that you're trying to build on. You can see here, I've gone ahead and add a bunch of cool stuff here. So that way it's got like a reference to like always try to query these like docs. So that's always like first thing you should set up.
Yeah, and I can second that. It's really good. Like if I'm always dropping docs in there and I'm always referencing. So yeah, very, very powerful.
Sometimes you get these weird things where some don't index. I haven't quite figured that out, but I usually come in here and like refresh, and then sometimes it works. For some reason, GraphNode does not like the GitHub there. But yeah, so that's very useful. There's also the MCP, which is really useful. And someone told me about this. Shout out to Shiv from the Build Guild. It's called Connext 7, which is like a MCP server that has like all of the standard docs built in there. So there's like a huge library of all the docs. And you can say at the end of your prompt, you can actually say, hey, use context 7, and it will try to use that MCP server to get the docs. So even if you don't have one in here in the features tab here, you can go in there and add this Connext 7. So to do that, I think you can just go to, oh, it's right here. So it's on GitHub. It's called Connext 7-MCP. And that will basically give you instructions on how to set it up. And then
when you say all the docs, what do you mean all the docs?
So I think it's a registry. I'm not 100% sure, but I think what people do is they commit their docs here, like where all their official docs are. And then the MCP server is just, using that. So
all the docs.
all the docs. Yeah. So it's kind of like it's just a lookup. It's if anyone doesn't know MCP, the idea with MCP is you're basically like making an API call to some other. So you can see we have the Pinax one in here, which is the token API.
Yeah. MCP, for those of you who don't know, just look into it. Essentially, it's providing awesome real-time context to your model that you're using in Cursor. And it's really powerful. I was tinkering a little while ago, and I was trying to build an MCP that directly connected to my front end's console. So essentially provide all the console logs directly right in and create this kind of feedback loop. And I got like halfway through and I was like, I couldn't figure it out all the way. So if anyone out there wants to finish that off, that's a good little MCP project.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so here's what I suggest we do. You tell me, Marcus, what you think, but I was thinking I can start off and I'll spin up an environment with Scaffold ETH, kind of just show off really quickly how it looks, and then just try to give it like one prompt to create like the smart contract, and then I can push it to GitHub and
Yep.
then you can download it. What do you think?
Love that. And we'll go back and forth. And I was reading, Kevin and I were talking before we were live streaming about the commit reveal pattern. He created a document on this, and I'd personally never heard of the commit reveal pattern. So maybe we could lean into that a little bit and talk about that as we build towards that. Does that make sense today for you, Kevin?
Yeah, hopefully we have time to do it. So I think what they
Sure.
do is we'll build the app real quick. So my thought was like we do a game. So
Sure.
again, you can go to Cursor and say, hey, like I'm thinking about building a game for Ethereum, and it will give you
Sure.
some examples. So I did this, and like the very first one is actually really simple. It's just rock, paper, scissors. There's
Hmm.
only three options, or well, four technically, because if you don't actually shoot, but we could build that, and I think that would be a
Sure.
good starting point.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, cool. Let's do it. So we're gonna go npx create ETH at latest. So I'm gonna grab this. So what you'll want to do is just spin up your terminal. We're gonna run that. What this is gonna do is run a script basically to like make some decisions. So what you want to name your project and whatnot. So we'll do rock paper dash scissors. If I can spell correctly. Rock paper scissors. And this is gonna ask you what chain you want to use. I'm gonna use Hardhat. You can choose Foundry. And then this is going to spin up like a GitHub repo that's kind of like has everything installed. It's going to install all of the packages. So it's a mono repo, which that just means it has like a couple packages in it. So if you use any like extensions, it might add another mono repo or a repo to the mono repo. So we're basically just spinning up the environment right now. We might move kind of fast here, but basically just for the sake of time, I'm going to split my screen up into a few terminals because we're actually going to need a few terminals with Scaffold ETH, right? So we're going to come in here. It's initializing. There we go. And it kind of gives you this console output on like how to get started. So it wants us to go into rock, paper, scissors, and it wants us to spin up the chain. Then it wants us to deploy our contract and then start our front end. So these are kind of like the three commands you need to get started. So we'll do that. We'll do yarn chain. This will spin up like Hardhat, right? Which is like just like a virtual blockchain. It's a blockchain tool really, and it has like these play accounts with some play ETH in them that you can like deploy locally and just kind of test. And then over here, yarn start will spin up the front end, right? So we're spinning up the front end. That's going to be React, right? We're using Scaffold ETH, which comes with React. It comes with Next.js, and it also comes with the app router, which is cool because you can just use like URL-based routing and create some cool routes. And then we can deploy our contract. So that basically, the Scaffold ETH comes with this contract. So we can just make sure that everything's working. We're going to not use that contract, but I just want to make sure it deploys. It's a little slow right now. And here we go. We get some console output, and then we get the contract was deployed. And so Scaffold ETH runs here on port 3000. So we can load that up in our browser just to make sure that Scaffold ETH is running. The very first time you run it, it needs to compile, right? So it's compiling. And then it's going to go ahead and spin up the app. So we'll give it 1 second. My computer's running a little slow. Probably doesn't like my video. There it goes. Okay, so Scaffold ETH, I want to do a quick walkthrough of it. Not going to spend a lot of time, but what's cool about Scaffold ETH is it has a burner wallet functionality. It's like a browser wallet that we can like start testing and prototyping with without having to connect to any other MetaMask or whatever wallet we're going to use. It has this debug contracts tab, which lets us kind of toy around with the contract and see what's going on with it. And that's really cool because otherwise you'd have to build your UI by hand. And so this Scaffold ETH, one thing it does is it generates types with TypeScript and then kind of injects those into this page for you so that you know exactly what the contract has the ability to do. So all this stuff we see is actually what's in the contract. So this main page is kind of like where you're going to build your app. This is a header, and then this is a footer, right? So let's load it up in Cursor. That was like a lightning talk on what Scaffold ETH is. But I think it just makes
There
sense.
are slower presentations out there with you and Scaffold ETH.
True that.
So if anyone needs that, just go ahead and look at Crypto Mastery. He's got plenty of workshops on it.
Okay, so real quick, I can tell you that inside the contracts folder is where our contract sits. So it's in
Can you
this
make the screen a little
package.
bigger? I'm like,
Yeah, for
there we
sure.
go.
Yeah,
Perfect. Thank
we're
you.
not going to really need to see the text too much. So
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we're going to be prompting the whole time, so
Yeah.
we might not be in the actual files very often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna. So I know this is my contract. It's the starting contract. We can just use that, and let's just see what AI does. So I want to create a contract that is rock, paper, scissors on Ethereum. Let's see. I want people to be to play against each other. I want people to bet, sure, to to bet on the results with ETH.
We are playing in public, so
And
we
yeah,
we could, we could make this a public rock paper scissors betting platform.
YOLO to mainnet, yeah. And then I don't know what else do we want. I think that's really good enough. Let's just say it.
Let's
Let's
start with
just
that.
yeah. So we're just gonna
Yeah, let's
ask.
start with that.
You can see it. I'll automatically reference the contract because I have it selected. But with you can basically do like so at, and then you can start typing in a file, and it will find the file for you to kind of like focus in on. And then it was just going to go out and it's going to try to do this, right?
Mhm.
So there's a lot of like waiting with
Yeah, and this is a good time for us to chat. Where
Mm.
I'm also going to shout you out, Kevin, where you have built on Scaffold ETH a project recently that's recently gone into production for the graph, and I'm really impressed with it. And so you started with Scaffold ETH before you now have something in production, isn't that correct?
Yeah. I mean, way back in the day, I started out when I first got started. I used to work for Nginx doing Web 2 stuff, and then I heard about Scaffold ETH, and I became like a little bit of a fanboy. And then I started kind of helping like promote it and teach people. So yeah, I've been doing it for a while.
Yeah, and so now you have Builders Basecamp that you've put together. And it started from Scaffold ETH, what we're looking at right here, and now it's on production on the graph. Well, so it's not just tinkering little hackathon projects. You could build something that is used by a major protocol. And I think that's what I like about Scaffold ETH. It is opinionated, and I think those opinions are healthy opinions. I think they're not taken lightly. I think then in terms of the structures that it gives you enough structure and opinions about your building and your framework without being too opinionated.
Yeah, 100%.
uh,
Yeah,
yeah,
that was actually one of the things is when I first started, I didn't really know like, there was like Web3 JS and Ethers.js. This is like before VM. And like I didn't really know like which do I choose and like what should I use
yeah,
Vue? Should I use Next.js? But back then it was just React and
sure.
React was the thing, React was the way to do it. So yeah, it was just took me a while to put it all together, but yeah, eventually worked
Yeah.
it out.
Yeah, and that's the hardest thing, really, getting started in Web3. And I still think the best way to get started in Web3 is Scaffold ETH and Speedrun Ethereum by far. I have been hearing also good things about Cifrin Updraft. I haven't personally tried it, but I've heard good things about that. For sure, they're putting a
Yeah.
lot of work.
Yeah, Patrick's great. I know him really well. I've been following all of his stuff on YouTube, and when he started Different, I was excited. I was one of the
Mhm.
early testers there, and it's
Oh,
really
good.
useful. It's a lot of the content from his YouTube. He's kind of merged in there, and now he's building a lot more. And if you want to learn
Nice.
security, like he's 100% like the way to go.
Oh, good.
Also, like Speedrun Ethereum is a great spot. If I didn't talk about it yet, but speedrunethereum.com. If anyone has not done that, should do that. It's a real good learning experience as well. Okay, well, it did something.
Did
It
something.
basically
Let's
said,
see what it
it
did.
said it's good to go. It says that I can just deploy the contract and start it up. So let's just try to
Sure.
do that. I'm gonna do yarn deploy. By the way, if you ever want to force a deploy of a contract, you can do yarn deploy dash dash reset. That's just a good thing to know. But oh, the contract deployed, so there's no errors in the deploy script or the
Nice
contract.
job, AI.
You know what? I don't think it deployed is it deployed? Oh, maybe it did. Yeah, let's try. And then what else do we want to do? We want to make sure the front ends. Oh, so we get some errors here on the front end. So let's try to load it up. Let's go over here, and we're getting
Yeah.
some errors about Scaffold ETH. Now, if you'll notice right here, it's trying to say use scaffold contract read, which is I happen to know is the wrong one. So we probably want to point it at the right docs at this point. So we could use like the prompt to do that. I'm just going to be very specific, and I'm going to say like,
Mm.
well, we actually want to use the Scaffold ETH docs. So let me go to Scaffold ETH, and let's just do this. Let's just point it at the repo and see if it fixes it. Please use the Scaffold ETH 2 docs. Yeah, we'll try this, and then we'll also pass it the docs as well. So where's the docs at here? So I happen to know this. So if you're ever like trying to troubleshoot something, just throw the docs page at it. It's
Mhm.
kind of a thing. There is this, cursor file in here that comes with
Mhm.
Scaffold. It kind of tells it, it's like an MDC file, tells it where to look, but it doesn't always do it right. So this is like one of the things with like building on Scaffold ETH, because there was an old version of Scaffold ETH, the
Mm.
hooks were renamed and stuff like that. So
Yep, that makes sense. That makes
let's see if
sense.
it fixes it.
The context is always difficult with vibe coding, and sometimes uh I'm like I'm over it. I don't want to do vibe coding anymore. I want to go right into the files, and I think this is good for me to be like patient and like let's go ahead and find the way. I've tried to find ways to hone in on context with AI. I tried codeguide.dev, which is actually pretty good. It's not great. I tried essentially providing more cursor rules, um, just trying different ways to frame it. And so far, it hasn't been a panacea. It's still work in progress.
So I think it's still wrong. So
Mhm.
let's tell it again. So let's do it, because I just so I know. So maybe you took
Hmm.
a second to like realize what was going on. I'm not even trying to look at the code right now. I'm trying to do like
Sure,
true vibe coding. Let's say
sure.
you did look and you knew that like, hey, that's not the right hook based on the docs. I'm gonna say like,
Mm,
hey, please use scaffold read contract and scaffold. Well, it's actually use scaffold write contract like this.
mm.
And let's see if that works. So basically, we need to use the right hooks. So yeah, let's see. When it gets to the commit reveal part, that's going to be a lot of fun, because that is always a little bit of a thing, because we're going to actually have it like do this commit reveal stuff, and then the UI, you
Hmm.
got to do some stuff. It can get a little more complicated, but let's see. So hopefully I can get this in a working position, and then what I'll
Hmm.
do is I'll stop sharing, I'll publish it, and then you can check it out, and then maybe you can take over and try to do like the commit reveal.
Love it.
Cool. It says I can get fast asses. I don't know if anyone's ever done this, but I kind of want to do it. $20
Yeah,
monthly
I've
limit.
done it myself. I
Yes.
have, yeah, it's nice. Essentially, just not waiting around as much. It's the same function. It's just you're just not waiting around.
Yeah. No, if obviously I've been chatting away and not probably looking at a lot of this stuff, which might be true vibe coding, but you can see like that's a way to learn. Like you can learn like, oh, well,
Yeah.
it wasn't supposed to use these ones, and those are the proper ones, and now it's going to fix those for us.
Yep.
It's just a really good way for you to kind of learn something new as well.
Hmm. Yep. I recently stumbled across a new way to interact with vibe coding, I guess you could say it. It's called Repo Prompt. I literally just tried it last night. What I'll show it on my screen just to hang out and we could talk about it. But essentially, we're all trying to figure out as engineers what how do we do this new way of interacting with our computers. I like it because essentially it allows a better review process of the edits that a AI will be doing. And you're not even looking at the files. It doesn't even give you a way to look at the files. You're looking at the edits that it's making, and it gives you reasoning on it. And it's really nice. So I'll pop open Cursor for sure whenever you get that, whenever we get it running and compiling. And then from there, I'll go ahead and pop open Cursor, and maybe we'll get to that other way of interacting with the code.
Yeah. So I see it's trying to use scaffold contract. We actually want it to just use, please use,
This would be a good time. I would say change the model because it's doing the auto.
oh, really? Oh, yeah. Let me see.
Yeah.
I can check that.
Yeah, change it to a more powerful model because maybe it's, maybe you're giving it the right information. Just um, I love
Ah,
3.7. I love 3.5. Yeah, those are
there
solid.
we go. Yeah, cool. Thanks. Good looking out. All right, let's try that.
Yeah.
3.7. There we go. There we go. Hopefully it's going to work.
It's a bigger brain.
Let's
I
just see what.
find 3.7 to be a bit skittish. Like it'll like make a decision that I'm like, what the hell are you doing? But
What did it do? It added another head.
yeah.
What was that?
We're vibing. That is
We
correct.
are vibing right now. Okay, cool. Gonna have to
A
fix that.
plus.
It's kind of cool. Like, yeah, weird.
Yeah. There. And okay, it's fixing all the little
It
details.
looks
Okay.
like it's starting to work now. Now it knows like it's
Yeah.
doing
All
the.
right. All right. All
Oh, there we
right.
go. We can see the player too. It's
There
funny
we
because
go.
of the UI.
Yeah.
It decides what to do with the UI. Sometimes the UI is like really horrible, and sometimes it's really
Yep.
good. This time it's
Yeah.
definitely very horrible. I might have to tell it.
I do like using for the UI. I haven't used it very much, but I've been really impressed with V0 from Vercel. I've poked around there and I've used a few of their components. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I stepped away slowly. I was like, oh shit. Yeah.
All right, cool. It's a little slow right now, but at least we enabled the fast one here. Let's see if it goes.
Yeah, it'll go. And I think because it's compiling and running, I think this would be a good time to, once it's done, send it over to me and I will see what I can do and we'll go back and forth with this.
Yeah, sounds good.
One prompt to rule them all.
I think last time I did a dry run of this, it was having issues with VM, so hopefully it
Okay.
works successfully. But
Yeah.
because it has to
Yeah.
do like some conversion with the bet, and like
Yeah.
there's always this weird thing.
I think initially just making sure the smart contract and front end are operational and able to interact and just play a simple game of rock, paper, scissors. And then from there, let me see if we have anyone in chat right now. If anyone said anything to say hi. We have some views. Hello. All right. No one's chatting just yet, but that's okay. I think we need to figure out a better way to live stream and also chat with the viewers. But
Yeah. Okay.
the yeah, it's perfect. That's very AI.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna fix that. So there
Yeah,
are there are two headers and footers, and fix this.
fix this, dang it.
Or go to jail. Have you seen that video of the guy? The
Yeah,
vibe
go to
coding?
jail.
Yeah,
Yeah,
go to
yeah,
jail. Fix this or go to jail. Sometimes there's this weird thing with like hydration and like HTML, so it has to kind of fix some
yeah,
stuff here.
yeah.
Well,
The but yeah, I think I like the idea of just getting that operational. And then we have a choice in that, okay, do we actually want to have, I don't see people in chat right now, but that's okay. I'm thinking we could try, we're right now going to stay, we could stay with Cursor this whole time, or we could try different agents. I don't know. I just want to curious where you would like to go in terms of vibe coding and kind of educating yourself and myself. And where would you like to go with this a little bit?
man, yeah, whatever you feel comfortable with. Let's see.
All right.
Okay, cool. I think it's kind of working.
It's
I,
running.
I think it's good. Let's just try to create a new game real quick.
Yeah,
Amount of ETH? Sure. Well, let me get some money from the faucet. So you don't have any
sure.
ETH in your burner wallet. So we got to grab some ETH. Let me grab a couple, and then I'm going to create a game. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go
Hey.
new incognito window and go to the same thing, and we're going to pretend to be someone else over here. So, and then we're going to go view developer console because I always like to have that up and see what's going
Sure,
on.
sure.
Okay, that is very
It's very
okay.
mobile.
Not
Super
mobile
mobile.
friendly.
The
Okay,
most
so
mobile game ever.
we have the game. Can I join
Yeah.
the game? How do I? Oh yeah, join the game. I have to know the game ID. That's not a very good
Oh,
UX.
wow.
Where's the game ID?
I don't know.
We'll just assume it's 0, and I'll
Sure.
also 1 ETH, and I'll join the game. Don't have enough funds. Oh, I need more funds. There we go. Join the game. Cool.
All
I'm in the
right.
game.
Hey.
Now we can do a move. I'll do rock.
Hey,
And
this is
this
pretty
is like,
cool.
oh, dude, it actually already did the commit reveal, I think, because it wants a secret.
Wow.
So I'll
Yeah, I
just do.
remember some previous conversations that you had.
Oh yeah. Okay. So commit move.
Yeah. This is a good
Like
time to bring up commit reveal. So like yeah.
yeah. Yeah. So maybe I could just like load up my GitHub and yeah. So go to repositories, and then there's a rock RPS vibe code here,
Hmm.
and then there's a commit reveal version here. So basically the idea with a commit reveal, is it even explain it in here? Yeah, it does. Okay,
Hmm.
so the idea with a commit reveal is like when you put stuff on the blockchain, it's anyone can kind of see it. So you propose a transaction with rock paper scissors 1, 2, or 3. I mean, everyone can technically see that. So the other person could basically game you and say, oh well, he chose rock, I'm going to choose paper, right? And so the idea is that we also do like a commit reveal pattern. So basically we don't commit the answer, we commit a hash. And I think I made a special document here called tutorial that kind of talks about it.
Hmm.
And it talks about like how you convert. But basically the idea is you're passing in your answer, you're passing in your address, and then you're passing in a random kind of string. It's like usually a password or some kind of way to like do it. It's called a salt. It's basically just like a random string, and you're combining those together into one hash and committing that. And then
Hmm.
each person commits their hash, and then after those both people have committed, then each person has to reveal what their answer was and actually post their answer. So it's this kind of like you put some hidden data on the blockchain that's hashed and like encrypted with your information, your password, your
Hmm.
salt, and then
Hmm.
each person is basically like revealing. So that's the commit reveal pattern. So there's a
Interesting.
yeah. And so we do all that. This kind of talks about how you would set it up and stuff like that. So that's available on my GitHub. We can share that out in the comments as well. So let me just put that over here in case we want to do that later when I switch to you. Okay, I think we
Awesome.
should let's see if it actually worked, and then I'll commit, and then maybe we can figure out something else you can do or show
Yeah, I
off.
like that.
I don't
Yeah.
know why they're showing. So I put rock. I want to come over here and do paper
Hmm.
and also do password. This should be like net hidden commit
Hmm.
move. And then I think now we need to, oh, I did select a move. Please select a move and enter a secret. Okay, so something's not working.
Yeah, something not plugged in.
Um, let's try it. Okay, it won't let me choose an answer on player one. It says, all right, we might have to redeploy and try it again real quick. Maybe if it doesn't work, I can still commit everything and then you can try to
Yeah,
fix it.
yeah, that makes sense. The what are you feeling for this is our first Vibe Code Friday, and I personally am an okay engineer. I am a good communicator, and I feel like for me personally, vibe coding has been incredible, where I'm able to essentially I communicate very well with language, but when it gets down to the actual little bits in coding, it's like, okay, I know what I'm trying to do, but it's a little bit more difficult. So I find my language has been wonderful with vibe coding, with its caveats. There's, absolutely some things that it's not great at. How are you feeling about kind of the vibe coding tsunami? It feels like it's happening, where this is a complete change of how the industry will be working. It feels like I talked to an engineer yesterday who's been an engineer for 15 years. He says 90% of his code right now is AI, touches AI. And
Mhm.
it feels like a big shift. I mean, for him, and I know a lot of other engineers out there.
Yeah, I mean, like I've been coding for ever. I mean, ever since I was a
Yeah.
kid, and I kind of always found myself to be like a little bit of a generalist. I was a site reliability engineer for like ever, and so I was touching, like every kind of source code you can think. So I was never able to really like hone in on one thing, but I think like vibe coding actually, like just in general, the AI tooling gives you ability to go down the rabbit hole of things that you're interested in and actually do learn because
Mm.
you're not blocked, right? You're not like blocked by like having to read the docs and like understanding the language from like A to Z, right? You can kind of at least have an understanding of like programming knowledge and like how things work from a programming perspective, and then from there you can kind of like become a little bit more of a subject matter expert, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it feels like. It feels like that for me, I've been unlocked, where I'm now able to essentially take exactly my vision and find ways there that might not be the most efficient ways there by someone who's been coding for 15, 20 years, but I can get there, which feels very, very, very good.
I'm gonna try one more time. So create
Let's go
game.
for it.
How many bounce? Okay, I redeployed here. Let's see. There's a bunch of ETH that I'm just burning into this contract. Create game. Luckily, this isn't. I mean, oh god, there's another issue. Oh man. Use contract function
The
execute.
adventures of vibe coding. This is
Fix this or go to jail.
it. And I mean, this is the process. So what I'd recommend if it's not doing well on this, have you tried Gemini 2.5?
No, I've not. We can try that. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, what I would say is if it doesn't solve it on here, yeah, do
Here.
the Gemini experimental, the 2.5 experimental. That is
Oh, this
insane.
one.
Yeah, yeah, that one to me is my favorite. It is super powerful. And one thing I'm thinking, if you get this operational, and it seems like it's fundamentally working,
Close.
I'm curious. Yeah, it's close. I'm curious about a front end component about using V0. I've really only used it once or twice, and I'm kind of wanting to give V0 a chance with this and say, hey, what do you think? And go from there. There we
Okay,
go.
I think
Magic.
join the game.
Yep.
Also, I need to bet one ETH. Join the game.
Yep.
Oh, got what happened.
Invalid game ID.
Oh, maybe it's zero. Is it zero? Yeah, it's probably zero.
Yeah.
Thank
There
you.
we go.
Okay,
Boom.
cool. So now we're both in the game. Now I can go rock, password, commit,
That's so cool.
paper,
We did
commit.
this in a few minutes.
Game ID is required. Why does it want the game ID? Oh, zero. I guess you have to
Yeah,
put that
actually.
in there.
Yeah.
There we go.
Boom.
So now we need to
Hey.
reveal. We both have committed, right? Now we
Yep.
need to reveal. So we need to do password reveal move.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I put commit here. Is it going to tell us who won? Oh, it worked. All right, cool. So I won the ETH. And now I have 3.9 ETH, and this guy's only got one ETH. Time to go
Very
to Vegas.
cool.
All right,
Time to go
cool.
to Vegas. All right, you bet the house.
All right, so let me just take this
Yep.
and let me ship it real quick. So I'm going to
Yep.
stop sharing real quick. How the
Yep.
heck? I got to go back to Riverside. Let me, how do I stop sharing? There we go. Stop sharing.
There we go.
Now I'm going to commit this to GitHub and I'm going to give
Mhm.
it to you. I need to
Sure.
load up my other thing. So tell me a little bit about like what you've been building with AI because you've seen some of the stuff I've built lately. Have you built anything?
Yeah. So recently, I'll share my screen actually. And this is something that I worked on a few weeks ago, and now it's in production, it's actually being used on the Graphs website, which I'm pretty happy with. Let's go here, entire screen, and share. And are we sharing? We are sharing. Okay. So the miniscan.xyz was a really powerful, I mean, powerful is relatively speaking, let's just say useful developer tooling. Um, and essentially, there was a mini contract explorer. And it's now not in operation anymore. So shout out to the dev who built it. Unfortunately, it's not in operation anymore. The code is still available on GitHub. And I said, I need that because I'm working with smart contracts enough where I need to inspect the smart contracts without fully indexing them. I want to just see what they have, a little bit more metadata than the actual um, uh, going into a block explorer would actually provide. So I built Canna, which is smart contract analysis CLI, and I pretty much vibe coded the whole damn thing. And it's quite powerful the whole way through. So I'm quite proud of it. It works very well. And I'm not going to demo it here because that's not the point of this. But essentially, like I was able to put a little CLI together and have it be used as a way to, if you were wanting to inspect a contract just prior to indexing using a subgraph and or a substream, I was able to do that in probably about 6 to 7 days to get it to the place I wanted it to be. And it's great. It's very powerful and it's customizable and it's ready to go. So yeah, I'm really happy with that. And that's a very vibe codey thing that I did. So yeah, let me close that and then go back to you,
I
Kevin.
just
Did you?
uh, I just sent you the thing on the Crypto Vibes Telegram channel.
Perfect.
Check
Thank
that
you.
out.
All right, crypto vibes. I
We got
like
about
it.
20
Rock,
minutes.
paper, scissors. Got it. And I'm gonna code rock, paper, scissors. So I'll share my screen again here while I'm getting going. This is fun. I'm enjoying this.
It was great.
Yeah, man. This is vibes, man. This is super vibes. All right. All right. Share screen, entire screen. There we go. And here we go. Rock, paper, scissors, open and cursor. And here we are. So I believe we just got to put everything in here and then I don't do the fancy, what do you call it? What's the four window thing that you do? I can't remember it. It's really nice though.
Oh, T-Mux. Yeah, yeah.
Tmux. That is very nice. Just going to keep it in here for now. And we'll get this up and running. And I'll see if I can get it operational. And I personally, like, What I want to do is I want to do one prompt using Gemini here. What I'm really impressed is, and for those watching, Gemini 2.5 Pro Experimental is my favorite so far. I know O3 and O4 Mini were just released. O3 is 30 cents per request, which is crazy. I haven't used it once. I'm using Gemini 2.5. So let's go into the packages. And what do we have here? We have Hardhat, Next.js, so CD into Next.js. And then here it's Yarn start, right?
Yeah, yarn start.
Yeah.
Well, yarn chain for the chain, and then start.
Okay. But we do that in the root directory.
Yeah, in the root
Yep.
directory. Mhm.
Yarn chain for root directory, and then yarn deploy also in root directory.
Yep, in new window.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep. All right,
Yarn deploy, and then yarn start is the last one.
Yep, there it is. This should spin up just fine. Make it a little bit bigger. Thinking about it, and it did it properly. Yay. And now we're in Next.js and then yarn start. Okay. Cool. Bling. Ready. And let's hop in. Come on, you little. There we go. Okay.
If we had more time, we could actually publish it to mainnet, and then we could play each other.
Yeah, we could. It should be doing its thing right now. Yep, compiled. Okay, cool. There we are. And we've done it. Okay, so this is all here. I could do the incognito window thing. I'm happy to play around with that. I'm personally wanting to educate myself about V0 just to improve this UI eventually. But first, I'm curious if I should do V0 or just keep on going deeper with just improving the UI without V0. Let's just stay here. Actually, I'm going to take that back. I'll do V0 maybe another time, but I want to give Gemini 2.5 Pro to say, hey, could you please look in, we'll call it it's not packages, it's the Next.js folder and the components, and make improvements to the UI for my rock, paper, scissors game. Any other things that you want to add to this?
No, I think it should be good. I sometimes I tell it to use Daisy UI and Tailwind CSS, just so it
Okay.
knows, because that's what Scaffold ETH uses. But
Use Daisy UI and Tailwind CSS. Let's see what it does. Vague. Let's keep it vague. What I'm impressed with the Gemini 2.5 is its ability to know lots of different context. And it does a very good job at like wide perspective, better than any other model that I've seen. And yeah, so let's just hop into it. Okay, so it's looking at game UI component, handles game creation, joining, committing moves, revealing moves, basic HTML elements, tailwind classes. Cool. And I did not drop in the Scaffold ETH docs, so I'm curious if that'll affect it. But maybe it will, maybe it won't.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean,
We'll see.
usually, like, Scaffold ETH has components which are kind of nice. So a lot of times it will know those because you've been training it. But I was training it earlier, so this should be a good test. Yeah.
Right. Here we go. Okay. Reviewed. Okay, here it's going. Boom.
Nice.
And we'll accept the file. And much cleaner and organized UI. Let's test it out now. All right, let's go back. Okay.
A little bit better.
A little bit better. A little bit better. Bad amount. All right, so let's go ahead and do that incognito window thing that you were doing. That needs to be let's see. What do we do? Incognito it is. Okay. So localhost 3000, and we're in. And so this should work because it's the same repo, same thing here.
Definitely looks better on mobile.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm wondering if we could actually develop a actual physical, like it shows like a rock,
Ooh,
paper, scissors, like hand scissors,
that would be cool.
that would be cool. The UI reflect the choices of an actual hand SVG. rock SVG and paper SVG according to our selection. Okay, so this is the prompt I'm going with. If I get this running and it's functional, I'm happy to pass this right back to you with a PR. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
There we go. All
What
right,
is
going.
thinking?
Yeah, it's thinking.
There's one thing I love about vibe coding is you're not really cared too much about the code, just fixing the errors.
Yeah, it's literally the smallest window here. Like I'm not even really looking at it.
Let's just see what you do.
Yeah. All right. So, okay. Span elements. Okay. I don't actually have SVG elements. Yeah. Okay.
That's too bad.
That's okay.
Yeah, I would say that
Use emojis instead of SVGs. Okay, we'll get this running.
Oh, wait, was he using? Oh, SVG. Oh, maybe it was drawn SVGs.
It was trying to assume SVGs and it didn't actually. Okay. So remove the SVG and put the emojis back into the move. Okay, very nice. So refresh, grab funds. Okay, bet amount, 1 ETH. We have 1 ETH.
Yeah, get 2 ETH from the faucet so you have enough.
Okay, yeah, that's right. So you got to have enough for gas. Okay, game ID. All right, so we got that. Let's create the game. Boom. All right, let's come back over here. Okay, we'll bet 1 ETH here. And we have game ID 0. And all right, waiting for player 2 to join. Look at that. That is nice. All right, confirm bet amount 1 ETH, and we'll join the game. And it automatically refreshes. There we go. Look at this. All right, your move, Rock. And we'll have a tie. We'll see if it can actually function with a tie.
That's a good idea.
Okay. Yeah. Strong secret phrase. Secret. Ooh, look at this. It automatically obfuscates everything. All right. Password. Actually, we'll do it 1, 2, 3, 4. The most secure password of all time.
That's the password on my luggage comment.
There you go. And we'll do 5, 6, 7, 8 over here. All right. So we have the commit hash displayed. We'll commit the move. Very nice. No password needed. Very nice. Okay. Okay, so we've done it. Transaction committed successfully. Now,
and you even added a timeout. I don't know if I did that before.
I didn't. I did not add a timeout. I didn't ask for a timeout.
Yeah, because I was thinking if you were to lock up the ETH in there, then it would get lost if someone didn't.
Okay, so winner, draw. It did a draw.
Oh, it already knew? Oh,
because because I pressed the button, draw. Very nice.
Nice.
This is super cool. Good job, AI. I get, this is very spread out, and of course that's fine, for initial thing. What happens with timeout? Yeah, so it won't have a timeout because we're not actually in the middle of a bet.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and try again. We'll bet amount. We'll bet again. 1 ETH. Game ID. We'll make it 1. And it's thinking. -1. Oop, nope, don't want that. We want game ID 1. There we go. All right, so we have a new game. And we create a game, or do I have to refresh? I'm gonna have to refresh it. Bet amount 1 ETH.
Oh, I think you may have. You may have lost the game.
Well, yeah. Well, I was trying to create a new game because essentially it was a tie.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay. Ooh.
You need ETH. You need more ETH.
Oh, I just need more ETH. Okay.
We're burning through ETH here.
We are. There we go. All right. So we'll create a game. And we've had 1 ETH bet, and a game ID will be 1. We'll make a new game, and we'll bet amount. We'll burn through some ETH. Bet 1 ETH. And we're not going to create a game. We have a game ID 1. And we're waiting for player 2 to join. Confirm bet amount.
So it's 1 ETH. Yeah, you just put it right there. Yeah.
There it is. Okay. And we've joined. That is brilliant. Good job. And so I'm curious about the claim timeout, essentially.
Oh, but it says it was already a draw, though. There's something wrong. So
yeah, the game ID is not working. Okay. I'm okay with these bugs right now. I'm
Yeah.
going to pass this back to you, and we're going to commit.
Do you have a hard stop, by the way?
I do. Let me check here. Oh, go to back over here to this. There we go. Sometimes, for some reason, I have to go here to init. I don't have. I want to create a fork. Yeah,
Oh,
create a
because you don't
fork.
have write privileges. Yeah.
Yeah. Create a fork. And create a parent project and init. There we go. Main to main. Oh, why are you like this? Sometimes I've been having difficulty with my commits for some reason. I don't know
Mm.
why. Let's try again. Yeah.
Mm. Let's see. That's weird. I'm able to read it in enough such file and Marcus. That's weird.
Right?
It's
This has
almost
been
like
happening the last like week or two, and I'm like, what is going on?
Hmm. Well, we are coming up on an hour, so we could always
We
just.
are. Well, anyways, we'll go back here, and this is actually really cool. The fact that we could actually get this going in a few minutes. How long? I mean, this would have taken me at least a weekend. Easy. Just a few months ago to get
Yeah, I
all of this
mean,
logic, to get the front end to respond correctly, to have it look reasonable, all of this.
yeah, I mean, if you
Um,
even just look at like the diff,
yeah,
like the commit, it was
yeah,
it was two commits. There was the initial commit, and then the first commit, which was basically everything. I mean, you
yeah.
can see this was
Scam UI.
probably. I'm kind of looking at the lines of code. It was all
Yeah,
together about. We'll say it was about 1,500 lines of code.
yeah.
Well, that includes the ABI. Maybe the ABI didn't that doesn't count. So yeah, so 347 for the front end, 347
Yeah,
lines, and then about I don't know, 200 or 300 of the Solidity code.
yeah,
But
yeah.
but
I'm
yeah, I
really
mean,
impressed.
you probably could hack it together in a day, but
Yeah.
we did it in like what, 30 minutes or 40 minutes.
Yeah, 30 minutes. And that's absolutely crazy. The fact that we could do this in 30 minutes between conversation, going back and forth. I got to get that commit issue figured out. I do want to I do like this, how we kind of had an idea of what we wanted to do and we went for it, and see what we could do in an hour. I've actually kind of like that, like it's containerized. And that feels healthy because we can go down a rabbit hole and be like, there's a bug and prompt and like
We got pretty
um
lucky. Last time I was doing it, it was like I was in some weird loop for a while, and I had to like tell it,
yeah,
"Hey, use VM," because it was trying to use Ethers, and then it was trying
yeah,
to like use an old version of Ethers, and then I think I had done some other stuff with like Open Zeppelin or something, and it was like trying all the different versions of Open Zeppelin to get it to work, and so yeah,
yeah, it's close most of the time. So yeah, the I think the next week, let's keep on doing it on Fridays. I like this. And I want to find a way if we can get more of audience participation because I know X doesn't like any other way, but if we are streaming to X, that's where most of our friends are. It'd be nice to communicate with them. So I don't know. We'll have to figure this
yeah.
out.
I don't know if we could schedule the spaces next time might help too.
Yeah. Actually, it's scheduling it in public and making sure people out there know. But as people who are watching can tell, this is super vibey. And I think this is pretty on brand for this. So uh, I'll say I like the idea that we use scaffold ETH. I think next time I personally want to use V0 next week and see what that's like and see what that like we'd be like to tinker. And so maybe a smart contract, maybe not, but just to see how we can maybe find a smart contract that's maybe already deployed so we don't have to worry about spinning it up and just get something that's operational and see different ways that we can have that front end look unique and look different and play around with that and just maybe stay in the front end world. And then maybe the next time we can go in the smart contract world, like be specific. That feels right to me at least. You know,
Yeah, for
yeah.
sure. We could also just build
Yeah.
something Web 2, that'd be a fun
Be
task.
a what? The
Web
what?
2, something Web 2.
Yes, I mean totally. I mean front end components can be used Web 2, Web 3 doesn't need a smart contract. But yeah, we could absolutely build something. I'm curious how powerful front end design can be right now because I've seen some stuff recently, and I just honestly haven't had time to like dive into what front end AI can be because I've been really been tinkering with more of just smart contract stuff. So,
Yeah, there's another one
anyways.
called lovable.dev as well. I don't know if you've heard of that.
I've tried Lovable briefly, didn't like it. It was great, but it wasn't. Cursor for me is more comfortable. It felt almost too hands off, where it's like press the button and like just watch it do everything. And I was like, I want to dive in a little bit more, but I get it how maybe for like the the first maybe five prompts, start at Lovable, and then I wanted to export it to Cursor personally.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah. So, anyways, for the first hour time block of Vibe Coding Fridays, Kevin, Marcus, with Kevin and Marcus, degens and builders. So, if anyone out there is watching, has any ideas, and wants to join Vibe Coding Fridays, this is super vibey. So it doesn't have to be just Kevin and Marcus. This can be anyone that wants to hop in and hang out. We're going to keep on doing this and keep on building, and that feels right. Does that feel right?
Yeah.
Is that right vibes to you, Kevin?
Hell yeah, let's do it.
All right, man. Well, happy Friday. Enjoy the rest of your day. And anyone out there that's watching, enjoy the rest of your Friday. Take
See
care.
you guys. Bye.